let me give you an example of what meditation can look like. When I was trying to overcome fear of many things, of posting on social media, of applying for things, fear was basically holding me back at some point. This is how I waged war on fear with the word. I used this Bible verse, 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. And it says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of a sound mind." I remember clearly I read this in Amplified version, and Amplified breaks it down completely. For God has not given us the spirit of cowardice, timidity, or fear, but have given us the spirit of power, of love, of, I think, self-control and sound judgment. And he put in brackets everything needed to live a calm, well-balanced life. And something just went off in my brain, because for the first time, it really defined what fear was doing to me as a Christian. It was showing me in explicit terms that it is very difficult to live a calm, well-balanced life when you have fear in you. And guess what? It is not something that should be an attribute of the believer. As a Christian, you have no business cutting fear, because the spirit at work in you is not of fear, is of power, is of love. So what I did in the process of meditation is I began to break this down. I took out fear, for instance. Fear of what? There's fear of success, there's fear of failure, there's fear of the unknown, fear of the future. Break down all the different kinds of fear that you feel, and then begin to repeat it to yourself. I do not have the spirit of fear. For God has not given me the spirit of fear. I do not have the spirit of fear. You repeat it to yourself over and over again. Just taking just that fear, repeat it to yourself. I do not have the spirit of fear. When you're done with that part, you then begin to analyze critically all the attributes that replaces fear according to the word, or not even replaces fear, the actual spirit that is at work in you. So you have the spirit of love. You begin to deconstruct that. What kind of love? You should love yourself. And if you love yourself, you will not allow fear to hold you back. Fear is also something that will stop you from soul winning, and you cannot claim to love others if you refuse to win souls, if you refuse to tell them the good news of the gospel. So you also have the love of God that's working in you. You begin to expand what this God's love looks like and the kind of results that it can bear in your life. Do you see how we are deconstructing this Bible passage? Then you move on to the next thing of power. Oh, wow. We begin to look at all the descriptions of power in the Bible. For instance, we have power to trample upon serpents, scorpions. We have power to do exploits. We have power to cast out demons, to heal the sick. Knowing that this kind of power is at work in you will not allow any room for fear. And then you go to the next in sound judgment. This is actually one of the reasons why a lot of Christians and people do not make move, because they are afraid that they make a wrong decision. But here you have the Bible telling you that you have the spirit of sound judgment. So you should not really be afraid of making mistakes. And even if you do make mistakes, because of the love of God, which we discussed earlier, God's love will not allow you to stay in that mistake. He's going to still use that mistake to bring you out, to still write your life story. So do you see? But this is not a one-day thing. You have to repeat it to yourself over and over again, because the mind is very stubborn. So you repeat this to yourself over and over again and tell yourself, you know what? I do not have the spirit of fear. I have the spirit of love, of power. You appropriate it at every situation. If you find yourself maybe applying for an opportunity, as you're trying to type on your laptop and you kind of freeze, you tell yourself, no, I do not have the spirit of fear, and you push through that inertia. Over time, you're going to realize that everything called fear vanished. For instance, me now, I cannot believe some of the things I had fear for. It's almost ridiculous. Of course, we're still a work in progress, because every now and then you will see something either online, or your mind will tell you something. The devil will whisper certain thoughts to your head. Meditation is an ongoing thing. You have to keep feeding yourself the word. You have to keep reminding yourself, because the enemy is not relenting. All it takes is for one afternoon scroll, and before you know it, you will see stories that will negate that very thing you are fighting. All of this is to say, meditation is a powerful tool, and that's the way we wage war with the word. So don't sleep on meditation, you guys. Meditation with the word of God. Any other meditation, I don't know about that one. But what we're talking about here is meditation with the word of God.